Imagine this: in 1988, a man from a country ravaged by war, poverty, and political chaos became the first person from his nation to touch the stars. Not a superpower, not a wealthy nation with rockets in their backyard, Afghanistan. Abdul Ahad Momand, a Pashtun cosmonaut, floated through space, speaking his native tongue in the vacuum of the cosmos. Pashto became the fourth language ever spoken beyond Earth. But here's the kicker: almost no one outside Afghanistan remembers this. Why? Because, as history often does, it got buried under the weight of conflict. And that's exactly what makes this story so hauntingly relevant today. Personally, I think this isn't just about forgetting a single man's achievement. It's about how narratives are weaponized. Afghanistan's story has been reduced to a cycle of war, refugees, and headlines about terrorism. But what if we told it differently? What if we remembered that this was a country that once sent a man to space, that had poets, scientists, and dreamers? It's not just about correcting a historical oversight, it's about reclaiming identity. And that's what filmmaker Elham Ehsas is doing with his short film Forgotten Spaceman. He's not just resurrecting a forgotten hero, he's challenging the entire framework through which the world views his homeland. What makes this really interesting is how Ehsas weaves his own family history into the story. He discovers that his father had a photo of Momand, his own family had a connection to this spaceman. It's not just a documentary anymore, it becomes a personal odyssey. This isn't just about a man in a spacesuit. It's about diaspora, about the fracture between home and exile, about how memory gets lost when people are forced to leave everything behind. And that, my friends, is a universal story. How many of us have ancestors who left their homelands, carrying fragments of culture, language, and dreams? Ehsas isn't just telling a story about Afghanistan, he's telling a story about all of us. Let me take a step back. Think about the timing. Momand's mission happened during the Soviet-Afghan War, a time when the country was literally tearing itself apart. The very moment a man reached for the stars, the ground beneath him was collapsing. That's not just poetic, it's symbolic. It's as if the universe was watching as a nation's potential was snuffed out by its own chaos. And yet, Momand persisted. He took the Quran with him into space. He spoke Pashto in the silence of the cosmos. Then, after his flight, he returned to a country in ruins, eventually fleeing to Germany, where he became an accountant. A man who touched the stars ended up counting numbers in a foreign land. What does that say about the cost of war? About the price of being a refugee? It's a tragedy wrapped in a paradox. Here's what I find fascinating. Ehsas didn't set out to make a documentary about Momand. He was trying to make a fictional film about space. But the moment he stumbled upon this story, the script changed. It's almost like the story had a will of its own. And that's the beauty of it. Documentaries are supposed to uncover truths, but this one is also about the act of discovery itself. The filmmaker becomes a detective, sifting through archives, finding grainy footage, piecing together a narrative that was almost erased. It's a reminder that history isn't just written by the victors, it's preserved by those who refuse to let it vanish. And let's talk about the music. Ehsas uses Afghan folk songs to structure the film like a music album. Why? Because music is memory. It's the thread that connects generations, that carries the soul of a culture. When you hear those old melodies, you're not just listening to a song, you're hearing the heartbeat of a nation. It's a powerful choice, especially in a film that's about loss and return. The music becomes a bridge between past and present, between the man in space and the refugees on the ground. What this really suggests is that storytelling is resistance. When the world only sees Afghanistan through the lens of war, filmmakers like Ehsas are fighting back with stories of science, art, and human resilience. This isn't just about correcting a historical record, it's about redefining what a nation is allowed to be. And if Forgotten Spaceman gets the attention it deserves, maybe the next time someone mentions Afghanistan, they'll remember not just the conflict, but the man who once danced among the stars.